All right, so we're going to talk about factoring by grouping. And factoring by grouping is when you have four terms. So for example, we might have x squared plus 2x plus 3x plus 6. And to factor, so first of all, notice that we could add these two together, but we don't want to do that. That would be going in the wrong direction. Instead, we will group the four terms into two different groups. And then in the first group, we will factor out the greatest common factor. So in this case, both the 2x and the x squared are divisible by x. So we'll factor out the x. Then x squared divided by x is just x. And 2x divided by x is 2. When we look at the second group, 3x plus 6, the 3x and the 6 are both divisible by 3. So we'll factor out a 3. So 3x divided by 3 is just x. And 6 divided by 3 is 2. And now, when we look at both groups, we see that in the first group, there is an x plus 2 as a factor. And in the second group, there's an x plus 2 as a factor. So we're going to factor that x plus 2, that common factor, out of the whole thing. So we're going to factor out the x plus 2. That was the common factor. Now the question is, what happened to the rest? Well, if we look at this first group and we divide out the x plus 2, what's left over is just the x. And in the second group, if we divide out the x plus 2, what's left behind is the plus 3. So now to make this nice and accurate, we'll put on equal signs. And this is the factored form. And like I said in the previous video, it's easy to check this. We can simply multiply this back out. In this case, to multiply this out, we would use FOIL. So firsts, outers, inners, lasts. So we'll take x plus 2 times x plus 3. When we do the firsts, x times x is x squared. When we do the outers, x times 3 is 3x. When we do the inners, 2 times x is 2x. And when we do the lasts, 2 times 3 is 6. Now, if you compare this to what we started with, it's equivalent. The only difference is the two middle terms are in a reverse order, but since it's all addition, you can swap the order without changing the value.